Okay, fourth characteristic, it's grace orientation peaks out. This grace orientation which is problem-solving device number 4, was already developed before you reached gate 5, spiritual self-esteem. In fact, you would not have been able to arrive at gate 5 were it not for you having deployed that problem-solving device known as grace orientation. For without understanding grace, you cannot utilize grace to arrive at gate 5. So you had to know something about grace before. Once you know something about grace, then inevitably that knowledge about grace becomes a problem-solving device. You apply it towards yourself, towards God, towards people. Towards God because you know His policy, grace policy. It's all grace basis. Towards yourself because you utilize whatever grace provision He's given you so that you can advance in the plan of God. And towards people, all the same grace that He has given you, you give to people as well. So, but this peaks out at gate 5. It is the ability to apply it effectively as a problem-solving device. And this grace orientation helps the believer rely more on the power of God for spiritual growth. Grace provision provides power. And once you understand that it is God's grace that has provided everything for you to advance, you depend more on His power. Before that, you still kind of depend on yourself, on your own power, on whatever you have going for you. The Corinthians, what are we talking about? What do they have? They have money. And people can easily depend on their money. You might, in this case, might not be in the same situation as the Corinthians. You might be the opposite. You might not have money right now, and that also serves as a test. But sometimes it becomes more of a test for you to have something than to not have it. It becomes more of a temptation to have something than to not have it. More of a liability or a distraction for you to have something than to not have something. Here in this case, they have money, and this can become dangerous. There's nothing wrong with having money. There's nothing wrong with being a millionaire or even a billionaire. But the problem in the spiritual life is that people depend too much on their money, not just in the spiritual life, just in general. They acquire their confidence, their sense of security from their money, instead of depending on God. And we see that passage where the rich man, it's very difficult for the rich man to enter the kingdom of God. Why is that? Because he wants to buy his way into heaven, and they cannot do that. And in the same way, in the spiritual life, it's very difficult for the rich man to advance in the plan of God because he's still utilizing his money as a defense mechanism, as something to acquire confidence and a sense of security, rather than depending on the power of God. This is the situation of the Corinthians. The reason why we're going over these characteristics of spiritual self-esteem. Paul is telling them that he is in fact testing them for the purpose of approval to see whether the love is legitimate. Where is it? Testing, dokimatsu, testing. Testing the legitimacy of your own love, your own child. Is that child a child of God, or is that a child of the cosmic system, whatever love that you claim you have? Have you developed that love at gate 5? If they do, then yes. Then it means that they're ready, they're advancing, they're depending on the plan of God and on the grace of God instead of their money. So this is a test that many of us are now going to encounter. We're more on the negative side, many of us, in terms of not having the money, and so you have to depend and trust on God for the grace provision. When you're falling short of the bills, when sometimes you might not even have food. So we're on the opposite of the Corinthians. At least currently I am at this moment, which I'm not complaining. It's a wonderful test as well. And God is always faithful to provide. Point 5, doctrinal orientation peaks out. This is problem-solving device number 5. Problem-solving device number 5 is necessary because obviously without the orientation to the whole realm of doctrine, you're not going to advance past gate 5 of the divine power sphere. Without problem-solving device number 5, doctrinal orientation, you cannot develop problem-solving device number 6, which is personal sense of destiny. How are you going to have a destiny without having that confidence in doctrine? Personal sense of destiny is confidence, is hope, a confident expectation about the future. You're not going to have a confident expectation about the future without being oriented to the whole realm of doctrine. So it gives you an idea that, yes, doctrine orientation begins before you arrive at gate 5, but it also peaks out at gate 5 and beyond. The maintenance of a genuine humility, thereby avoiding inordinate ambition and inordinate competition. All right, this is one part of it. You maintain a genuine humility. Finally, a lot of the ambitions and competitions that you had before, the insecurities, the sense of inferiority, are eliminated. This is the development of a spiritual common sense and spiritual independence. Now you don't depend on people, you depend on the doctrine inside of you. You're not dependent on people for their approbation or for a lot of their advice, whatever it is in your life. You now depend on Bible doctrine. Point 6, or characteristic number 6. The development of a personal love for God the Father, which creates motivation to continue advancing and making the correct decisions inside the divine power sphere. This is problem-solving device number 7, personal love for God, and this creates motivational virtue. For love is motivation. This is also confidence towards God. You love His characteristics so much, the doctrine inside of your soul. You love it so much that it produces confidence in God. And this is one of the great motivators for you to continue advancing all the way to gate 8. This is the legitimacy of love. Once you develop that personal love for God the Father, that is what's also known as legitimacy of your own love. You produce that child of God, which is love. Before that, any love that you claim to have is a product of the cosmic system, a fake love. Hey, love you this, love you that, love you bro, the love of God, and we ascribe it to God. We make all these noises about love, and we say it's the love of God. And so, being a fake love, it's also known as a bastard child. And that bastard child, we say, God, it's yours, it's your son. And God says, no, it's not. And we say, it's your son, God. And He says, no, it's not. You will develop my son, which is that love once you arrive at gate 5. A true, genuine, unhypocritical love. And then once you love God personally, you're ready to start loving people impersonally. For these two problem-solving devices work in tandem. Okay. Point 7. Or characteristic number 7. The believer has control over his life. The soul controls his body and not vice versa. And this is a problem of humanity, is that we have no control over our body. Our body wants pleasure, our body wants excitement, our body wants this, wants that, and therefore we have no control over it. The body's controlling us. This is a sin nature function. Therefore, the soul must acquire so much motivation from Bible doctrine, so much love, enough love for God the Father, that our body's now put under control. Before that, the body's still going to be controlling. Point 8. Spiritual self-esteem begins squeezing out any problems related to inadequacy, fear, emotional problems, personality problems, worries about what will you do with your life. What is that? Niche orientation. It is the beginning of learning how to live and how to die. You finally live for yourself. You're not worried about inadequacies, about a sense of inferiority, about why am I not like this person, why am I not like that person, why do I not have this, why can I be a little bit taller, why can I be a little bit thinner, why can I have a clean face, why do I not have thicker eyebrows, better eyes, smaller nose, etc. Yes, even things having to do with the body, things having to do with your whole persona, personality. You stop comparing yourself with other people so much. For the ladies, this is still a little bit difficult, but let me tell you, if you're a lady advancing in the plan of God, this is the best thing that you have going for you, spiritual self-esteem, because finally you're able to relax and enjoy a party, enjoy a as social group, enjoy yourself, even if there are other ladies that might appear to be a threat. Even if they're around, you can enjoy yourself, enjoy a few drinks, enjoy a dance without you having to prove yourself all the time. You know how difficult it is for you to be around all these ladies. You cannot enjoy yourself. Everything, you're just completely consumed by them, what they're doing. Am I looking good? Am I looking good enough? Am I doing this wrong? This and that. So the best thing you have going for you is spiritual self-esteem. The second best thing for you that you have going for you is a man, your right man, who truly loves you, who puts you first and lets you know that there's no other woman that's a competition for you. But if you have no man, then spiritual self-esteem. Regardless of whether you have a man or not, spiritual self-esteem is where you have to arrive. Sometimes even having a man produces more problems. So remember that, ladies, spiritual self-esteem is the best thing. This is for us, for men as well, for those men who feel threatened by other men. And what does he have that I do not have? For men who have an inferiority complex about their body. Oh, mine is not that big. His is bigger. Who has it bigger? It's the stupidest stupidities that we carry since childhood, from listening to rap music and all these things. And you know, there's some good rap, I suppose, but a lot of the lyrics are bunk. They're whack. They're arrogant, emphasizing stupid things. Man, when it comes to your love relationship, remember that your strong point is love, not lust. Your strong point is love, not lust. So see, you have a lot of things to learn still, and spiritual self-esteem is going to get you there. For spiritual self-esteem is the spiritual blessing, and it also leads to learning other things that finally orients you to reality, such things as love. Personal love is the strong point in your relationship. Even in sex, when you appeal to the woman's soul in love, the orgasms become much more high quality. Remember that. It doesn't take much to be able to make a woman orgasm. Just make sure that you know how to study a woman, that you love your woman first of all, and you study her, and obviously the high quality orgasms are going to come along, and she's going to be in the clouds. So all the stupid things that we worry about in our since childhood, things that make us insecure, make us feel inferior, they start being removed here in spiritual self-esteem. So man, as well, this is what the best thing that you have going for you. Arrogance is always the enemy of all these things. Arrogance produced the inadequacy, the fear, emotional problems, personality problems, worry about niche orientation. Who cares if you have not made your first million at the age of 32? Who cares if you're cleaning restrooms at an elementary school at the age of 65 and you still have not retired? Do your things as unto the Lord, man. And you should be able to have that happiness from spiritual self-esteem. Point 9. Personal sense of destiny as a problem-solving device. Now you understand that you do not have to fulfill the childhood dreams or the dreams of others that they imposed on you since childhood. And this is a big one, because as children, we kind of do need those imaginary dreams, those things that are perhaps a little bit illusionary, if that's a word. I forget what the word is. You know, those ideals of love, a perfect love, and all these things that keep the child motivated. And sometimes they do need those things, because the child might be going through problems in the family. He needs that additional motivation. So these imaginary dreams do help him out. But eventually you grow up, not only humanly but spiritually, and those imaginary things have to go out the window, and now it's time to become oriented to a reality. And the personal sense of destiny, which began before Gate 5, you needed it before Gate 5, peaks out as well. And so now you have a personal sense of destiny. You do not have to fulfill those childhood dreams or those dreams that other kids were talking about. It's part of growing up as well. Characteristic number 10. It says, for the first time, the believer is rehabilitated from indoctrination and influence of the cosmic system. Before that, you're still too indoctrinated by human viewpoint. things about what you should do, humanly speaking. Things about, I should be doing this, if not, I'm not a man. I should be doing this, if not, I'm not a woman. Why am I doing this when all the other people are doing this? Etc. You stop thinking so much in terms of security. Some people are just extremely security conscious, yes, that they are old men inside of a young person's body. They think in terms of social security, putting money into pone dinero al seguro and all this about just having a job with benefits, and there's nothing wrong with that, but they just think in terms of security, and think instead of thinking in terms of freedom, in terms of, yes, tomorrow's not guaranteed, but God is the one that's in control. Yes, I'm going to take this risk here and there. God is in control. I'm in the plan of God. No, people are just so security conscious. They're scared to make any move. They already want their free health care. They want their free this, their free that. And this is part of this new generation. My generation started it. No, the hippies started it. All this security talk. Free this, free that. Socialistic ideas. It comes from cowardice of people. Ignorance on the one hand, cowardice on the other.